Okay, Christmas came early. Okay.
All right, guys, whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon.
How you doing? Good. Sorry. You're
That's
delayed.
relative.
I guess when you look back at the Cleveland Browns game, do you guys wish you kind of like been a little bit more aggressive and blitzed Shador a little bit more in that game, or how do you feel about the game plan against the Browns after looking over the tape and everything?
Should we have blitzed a little bit more?
Yeah, been more aggressive from a pass rush
What?
standpoint.
How many blitzes did we run?
I believe it was 7 off the top of my head.
Yeah, that wasn't. That's not correct. So, yeah,
Patrick, what were some takeaways from the first matchup on Monday night that you think can help second time around?
got to eliminate the big plays, the explosives. Got to do a good job of corralling the quarterback. They got a good, solid run game, but they passed the ball a little bit more that game than expected. But I mean, every team that's played them has said that after the 7 wins. So, but the quarterback's really good. Quarterback's really good. We got to do a good job of disguising, and just got to do a better job. Just getting off the field on third down. I think they were 4 for 10, but we didn't force enough third down. So that's what I mean.
These last couple of weeks, JJ Pegues and Tonka's been getting a couple more reps. How beneficial do you think that is to their growth and development, especially at this stage in the season?
It's great, great. Young D lineman getting a chance to play, getting to see those looks. It's all going to, be added benefit for them from week to week. So should be good.
I guess to the point earlier, how do you feel the defense is getting home to the quarterback with just 4 guys rushing without?
I got to do a better job putting them in the right spots. But guys are working hard, doing what we're asking them to do. So, we'll evaluate that, from week to week to see what the plan is. But got to obviously do better. We're 2-8 or wherever we are.
Jeremy Chin had that forced fumble. Could you just speak on the overall impact he's had so far with you guys this year?
Great professional, great leader, better person. The way he trains out there on the practice field is top notch. I mean, I've been around some really good players who know how to train out there on the practice field, and he's one of the best I've been around in terms of what he does, how he goes about his business. So I couldn't be more pleased with the way he prepares for the game, and we ask him to do a lot, so he's been solid.
He's had a couple of really good weeks, but outside of Max, the rest of the defensive line at times can have some trouble getting pressure. Who are some guys that you think are stepping up or emerging opposite of Max, and who do you think can do better?
I know, Malcolm had a sack the last game. Jonah, all those guys are working hard. AB does a lot to create opportunities for players. But again, as you look at the numbers, again, you got to always look at, opportunities, then rush and coverage playing together. So again, it's a slippery slope to go down that route in terms of, it's this guy, it's that guy. It's a combination. The beautiful thing about our sport is a team game. It takes 11 guys to do it. And then on top of that, the coaches to help guide them in the right spot. So, I mean, guys they're working hard to get better, and I got to do a better job creating opportunities.
I know it hasn't resulted in wins yet, and that's overall, that's all that matters. But what have you thought about just the defense continuing to answer the call and keep the team in and not getting down when things aren't going their way on the other side of the ball? They're continuing to answer that call. Keep them in there.
I'm big on this in terms of leadership. Max Crosby is the leader of the defense. Max is never going to quit. Coaches, players, we all follow that lead to a degree. So, I know people think that's what they're going to do, but, I mean, nobody would do that. I know nobody I've ever coached would do that. Do we make mistakes? Yes. Do we have bad plays? Yes. But, nobody's going to do that. And, again, I can't speak for other places or other teams and stuff like that, but nobody's going to do that. So, I mean, it's expected of them to do their job, and that's what we have to do. I mean, there's only 17 opportunities. There's 365 days, 366 on a leap year where you get a chance. Most of those days you're a professional football player. On Sunday, you get to play football. So, got to make the most of it.
It looked like on the sideline at times there was some frustration flowing over Max and Landon having words. Is that just par of the course when competitive guys and there's a struggle going on and everything?
Yes. Yeah, yes. Marriage, brother, family. I mean, classroom. I mean, yes. But that's why you spend time with each other so we can talk freely, and not get sensitive about it. So that's a good thing.
Do you, as the DC, have to help get those guys back on page, or not even? They got
They're
it.
professionals. They get back on page. I have to intervene when I have to intervene, but I mean, it's not unique. All 32 teams and whatever many teams in college and high school, it all happens everywhere.
Last week, Kyle, you and Darian kind of split the reps. What have you thought from those two guys just continuing to develop as corners?
Doing a solid job, making the most of that opportunity, so getting their hands on balls, getting opportunities to tackle, getting opportunities to play with correct leverage, stay on top. So they're working hard at practice. It's a competitive environment for them, so that's always a positive.
With those young cornerbacks, obviously you're going against a guy like Keenan Allen, who has a lot of experience. What makes Keenan so good and something that you have to tell those young corners to watch out for when they're covering him?
I mean, the first thing people are going to talk about is savvy, blah, 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 stuff like that. The man is a skilled wide receiver. I mean, you don't make that many catches just based off of savviness. Savviness probably came as he continued to see more and more reps and got to understand how people are trying to cover him and things of that nature. But it first starts with the skill. The thing that also, when they move him around, you have to make note of his intelligence to be able to play different spots, whether it's Z, X, or the slot receiver. However they move him around, that's a positive. Even when they bring him in there to chip, I mean, he's a smart player, he's a skilled player, and then on top of that, the years of experience lending to the savviness, and he knows how to get open, and he has a good quarterback. The O-line does a good job of blocking. Coach Roman, his scheme is solid. But you tell those young cornerbacks, I mean, you're dealing with a guy who's probably going to be wearing a gold jacket one day. I mean, he's their leading reception getter for the Chargers, and they've had a few. I've had the experience of having to cover a few of those guys over the years. So, it's a tough matchup.
What about Charles Snowden and the way he continues to develop? Got that interception last week.
Snow is a mentally tough player. He's smart. We ask him to do a lot of different things. And the biggest thing, I mean, I say the mental toughness, but he's just a resilient young man in terms of his NFL journey. Resilient, so like to me, and he's always doing it with a smile on his face, and he's always open for critiques, how to get better. He's always working on his craft, but the thing that stands out to me is his resiliency in terms of how he fights back from, being up, being down, more playing time, less playing time. I mean, that's all you can ask for a young person like that, to be resilient, because this is a tough business, and he's shown that. Good?
Thanks, Pat.
All right.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hectic.
Another day, huh?
Hectic to say the least.
So kind of in familiar territory here for you. Based on your past experiences, taking over at this point, what becomes sort of the way to streamline things so that there's as seamless a transition as possible?
Well, as you know, it's difficult to change a whole lot. And anyone that goes into an offensive system, anyone quarterback would tell you it's oftentimes like learning a new language. So at this point, there's not a lot that you would change in terms of how we're calling things, terminology-wise. But there are tweaks that you can make, and certainly that we're making to try and be more efficient, because it hasn't been efficient enough. And it goes back to a lot of different reasons as to why, but at this point, with 6 games to go, we will make some tweaks, but there won't be a lot of wholesale changes that you'll see.
I guess what can be done to help the protection when that's been an issue, especially over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, there's a lot of different things. We've done things by bringing more in. We've done things by spreading them out and getting into some empty formations. But obviously, it hasn't worked. But there's when you look at it, we're always constantly trying to get the best 5 out there in terms of the offensive line, and they're competing every day here on the practice field. Any of those, the backup linemen, they're always getting work against Max and our number 1 defense. So we're constantly evaluating the personnel, so we're trying to make sure we get the right personnel on the field, but also using different systems of the running back, tight ends, chips, max protections, trying to find different ways to help out the front. And certainly the timing of the patterns. everyone's involved in it, really, when you look at it. I mean, getting the ball out on time, receivers running the right routes, crisp routes, timing routes, running backs involved in protection or in the route combinations. I mean, we're all a part of it, and we've all got to get better.
A couple of days ago, Pete was asked, what are some things that he believes that you bring to the table, and he said that you two are synced in terms of what you want to do with running the ball. How important is running the ball, meaning you in these last 6 games, to create more opportunities on offense?
Yeah, I think it's important in any system, and certainly where coming from Seattle, probably nobody ran it better than the Seahawks during their 10-year run there with Marshawn Lynch, who we had a chance to have here in Vegas and Oakland. So I've always believed in that as well. I think when you look across the league, the successful teams are the teams that run the ball when they want to run it, not just to run it to maintain balance, but we've got to get in the mindset of when we want to run the football, we'll run the football, no matter what the situation or who we're playing. So it just helps you. A lot of people talk about balance, and certainly we're looking for balance in what we're doing, and running the football is part of that, whether it's running it in the first quarter or being able to finish the game and run it in the fourth quarter. We just got to get better at that part of what we're doing.
Into Ashton Genty's not just a guy that you run the ball to set things up with. He's literally a weapon. But just getting him the ball enough times where that weaponry becomes prevalent in a game.
Yeah, no question, and that's part of the reason why we drafted him where we did was expectations of not only the player himself, but expectations of what we want our offense to look like. So, and getting him more involved, like as you said, touches, whether it be the passing game or the run game, screen game, quick game. I think there's a lot of things that he can do besides run the football, but how do you get the ball in your players' hands, your best players' hands, and he's one of our best players, so we got to find more ways to get him the ball.
How confident do you feel in calling plays for a guy like Geno Smith, who you have experience already with, not only just here but in Seattle?
Yeah, I'm thankful that I had a relationship with him in Seattle, and thankful that I had an opportunity to work with him in Seattle, and obviously Pete as well. But it certainly makes things easier. Again, I think anytime that you're with a first-time quarterback and coming into a new place with a new quarterback, there has to be that trust that's established between a play caller or between a quarterback coach and the quarterback, and that was established before he came here. So I'm certainly comfortable with our relationship, and he and I both are on the same page, and we know that we've got to get better as well, in the quarterback room. So, but it's a good feeling having someone here that I've had a chance to work with in the past.
When you're stepping in this latest season, what's the benefit of having someone like Brock Bowers in the passing game?
I mean, anytime you always want to surround yourself with great players, and certainly he's one of the greatest tight ends here in the league, and he's going to be a great player here for a long time. So, anytime you have great players, it makes your job easier as a coach. Mike's known as
a good blocker. Do you think he could help in that regard, even more so too?
Yeah. I think again our combination of tight ends and really that tight end room is probably one of the strengths of our offense right now. When you look at the 4 tight ends right now in that room that we've had up on game day and have been able to utilize all 4 of them. So that to me is an area that we can build upon going forward.
I know it's their jobs, and obviously they got 17 games that they have to play out. But when there's a season going like it's going, and then there's a change right now, how do you keep the room focused, motivated, and keep going, pushing strong? Yeah, I think that's your job as a coach, stimulate and motivate your players, because team morale or coaches morale, whatever it can be at a point right now in the season, you've got to stay up. And I think experience sometimes. If you've experienced that, you learn how to do that and learn to get through tough times. I think anyone that's ever faced any adversity in their life would say they grew from it, and I think that's important, an important lesson for everybody. But that's part of our job as a coaching staff, is to continue to stimulate, continue to motivate these players to finish this season. What would you say the mood of the room was when the change was made and you were brought in as the play caller?
Yeah, I don't know. There's only a couple guys, certainly Max and Colton and. We had DJ Turner was a guy that was here in the past, but a lot of these guys know I was here. But they were congratulatory towards me, and that it's a good feeling. But again, at 2-9, there's not a lot of great things to be real happy about. So we just got to get better and keep working every day and continue to get better.
That's good. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys. Yep.
Thanks, Steven.
Yep.